Hello everyone, and welcome to another Bass Singer Reaction. We are continuing on with the holiday trend right now. Home Free a couple weeks ago came out with their version of Mary Did You Know? A very iconic Christmas-themed song, and I have not watched it yet. I have put it off so that I can do a first time for you guys. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This will probably be the last Christmas reaction to come out. Life has been totally insane the last few weeks, so I haven't had nearly as much time as I wanted to do that blowout Christmas reaction bonanza I was talking about. So, well, we've gotten a few done that I'm happy with. So there's that, better than nothing. Guys, if you like this stuff, you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. Helps the algorithm, helps my channel grow. And if you really are enjoying what I'm doing, if you're learning things, if you're appreciating this music more from listening to me, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Nice. All right, so a nice intro here from Home Free, really beautiful. Staying on an oo vowel, oohs all around, and oohs, the closed vowels like oohs, e's, ohs, like a closed on. These closed vowels tend to blend very easily and blend very well. E maybe not so much because E has they have higher formants, so there's more conflicting frequencies in the upper sound spectrum basically, but with these closed vowels you get a darker sound, and these darker sounds tend to blend better. Oh yeah, and by the way, still have this like post-nasal drip happening. It's been like 3 weeks now, and I'm going kind of insane, but we're almost there. The voice is building strength back, but it's just like this never-ending cold that won't go away. Anyway, so they've got a really nice blend here. I heard more movement in the background parts as to what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting just like block chords, starting it off extremely minimal. But while they, there's no text yet, there's only one vowel they're using, there still were these kind of like virtuosic moving phrases up and down, which was really nice actually, especially in the high voices. I think it sounded like Austin's color up there. So we'll go back and listen to this again. So we've got the kind of foundation laid of this just oohs. They're blending really nicely. It still sounds peaceful and calm, but at the same time, they do have these big moving patterns going on in some of these upper voices. A nice intro. Sorry, so, I always love it when Tim starts out. I think, his nice, warm bass, it presents a place for this piece to go, not just with the background starting on, all these ooh vowels, where it's still quite minimal. But if you start a lower voice in the solo, just kind of by nature, if you add higher voices in later, it kind of revs up the intensity. So it's nice to start off with Tim's kind of very soothing voice, and then maybe later they'll get into Rob or Austin doing some belting up there. I do think it's interesting and pretty cool that they have perk. Kind of right out of the gate on this piece. Obviously, there was not vocal percussion when this song was originally done, and I don't know when or how long ago or where it originated exactly. I'm sure hundreds of years. Most of these Christmas carols have been around for quite a long time, centuries at this point. But it's cool. They added a nice kind of subtle vocal percussion going on in the backgrounds, and we'll see if that revs up as well as some of these other soloists take on. Now, I'm only assuming. So I think part of what I do with these first times is I I'm hearing this all for the first time, and I'm doing some prediction because I think it's fun to see, if you've been listening to groups for a while, if you can kind of predict what they're going to do next. So I'm thinking that they're starting off minimal, they're going to add higher and higher soloists, the perk is going to rev up, and it's going to kind of climax, 3 minutes in, and then kind of taper off and come back to this minimalist setting that we started at. That's kind of a general structure for a lot of a cappella works that seems to work really well. It's because it kind of it takes you on a more of a journey. If it's kind of flatline the whole time, it can get stale or get boring. So it's nice when a piece starts off nice and calm, builds. We get a big, emotional or just like a more intense moment there a few minutes in. You could call it a climax or the kind of the pinnacle of the energy of the song, and then it kind of digresses back, and then it kind of sends us off in a peaceful way. A lot of groups do that, and it seems to work really well. So let's see what Home Free does.
Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you deliver will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know?
Okay, nice. So they're still mostly on oohs. The entire background is still staying mostly on ooh, but occasionally they did have a few ahs that popped in there. Kind of like a movement from one little phrase to the next. Ooh, ah. It can kind of add a little intensity into a transition there. So I think that was used nicely and effectively. I like, Tim, of course, this solo is neither high nor low from him. It's kind of right in his middle voice where he's very comfortable throughout. So that's nice. It sounded like Tim was also on the bass line, but I would assume that Chance is doing the bass because he can sing he and Tim basically have the same low range, pretty similar anyway. Tim might be a bit lower, but I just want to go back and hear timbrally if it just sounded like Tim was also doing the bass line, which is fine. They can do whatever they want in this studio version, but let's just see for a second.
This child that
doom doom do descending really sounds like Tim.
This child that
Doesn't that sounds like Tim's bass color down there when he's doing a bass line like that? So people who are maybe more familiar with this group than I am, maybe you could leave a comment about. Let's just talk about this moment in particular, because it just really sounds like Tim's voice to me. But, it could be Adam. It could be Adam.
Will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his hand?
All right, Dawson sounds really nice on this solo. Again, it's not high or low. It's very middle voice and easy. The last few seconds. F4 to E. Yeah, sorry. So getting up to an F4. Sorry, that took me a weirdly long time to find that pitch. Getting up to F4, of course, is not high for Austin, but almost no matter what your voice type, you do have to start kind of shifting the mechanism a bit. Even if you have a high voice, if you're a high tenor, like Austin is or Rob is, by the time you get to F4, that still does require a good amount of stretch in your vocal folds to be able to pitch that high. So you can hear as he ascends, you can hear him just starting to turn into a more focused belt-like sound as he gets higher. So we'll just listen to the last few seconds, and you can hear the sound kind of focusing a bit. He doesn't have to do much because his voice is pretty comfortable up there, but you can still tell the voice does have to do a bit more work, even for a high tenor, once you get up around that E4, F4 range.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his head?
On his head. You You can feel it starting to like push into that kind of belt mode. And now I guess we have Tim covering the bass line. The perk did up intensity a lit. It's not like we're getting a big like kick, snare, crash pattern yet, which may come later. But there is more perk happening compared to verse number 1. And we also have and then Chance, I guess, is probably now covering a baritone line or like a bass 1 line. While Tim likely, I think, as per usual, is taking over the low bass line. And we do have a higher soloist now, and it adds to that intensity of the piece.
Did you know that your baby boy is walked where angels trod? When you kiss your...
Okay, a couple things. So now in the background too, we're far beyond just having oohs. Now we're having a lot of ahs. Again, adding it. The ah vowel has more higher frequencies than the ooh vowel. So it's adding intensity there. There's more sound coming. And not only that, but the background is also adding words. They're repeating some of the text that you're hearing in the solo. All these things are just adding to that build that we like so much. We like that the story of this song has an arc, that it's not just stale. And I think they're capturing that very well. It's not these big abrupt jumps in intensity. It's very smooth. And cool. Now Rob's about to give us a solo. I did hear a low chest note that I want to flag from somebody.
That your baby boy is walked where angels trod.
A1. So, Tim. Well, I guess it's Tim's soloing right now.
Boy is walked where angels trod. When you kiss...
It's really hard for me to tell. Maybe they're trying to sound similar. But like Tim during it really sounds to my ear. And now a factor that may be playing is that these headphones, they're decent headphones. They're not that nice. I have them because they're open back, so I used them for my virtual opera training last year so that I could wear them and still hear my voice in the room. They're only like $75. But they're about a half inch off my ear because of this Santa hat. So I'm actually not hearing as much of those fine details. So it's possible that the difference between Adam's bass and Tim's bass is a little unclear to me because of that, because the headphones are not right up on my eardrum. So that's really interesting. So you guys let me know in the comments if you are hearing a clear difference between when Adam's singing the bass and when Tim is, because to me it sounds a lot like Tim in a lot of these moments, especially down to an A1. Does Chance have an A1 in chest? That's quite low. That's like even towards the bottom of Tim's chest range. Anyway, I digress.
Kiss your little baby. You kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? 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 Whoa, the fly.
All right, cool. So again, we're revving up intensity. Now it's fewer and fewer vowels in the background. It's a lot of. They were just kind of doing this. What I called this last time, like a pseudo round or round vibes. Round vibes. That was it. Because it's not like it's not really a round because they're only singing one phrase, but they are kind of passing the baton. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? Like something like that. Like they're all the voice parts are kind of passing around this Mary, did you know text, which is nice. The perk again is just it's a little bit revved up. There's a little more of like there's more crashes happening. Crashes are a great thing to highlight a new section, highlight a moment. There's such a great, you can use crashes really well in a transitionary period because it lasts a couple seconds, and if that crash lasts a few seconds, your ear is kind of drawn to that, and there could be the transition happening vocally kind of within the context of that crash, and so you don't notice a harsher transition vocally if a crash happens. It's used a lot in electronic dance music. If there's a switch to a new key in like a dubstep track, you'll often have like a big crash when that key switches, so it just feels a bit smoother because your ear's a little distracted by the crash. By the time that resolves, you're like, oh, we're in this new key now. So it's a good trick to use by producers and used by Adam here on the Perk line.
We'll see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again.
There you go. This is really nice. So Humphrey is really making their own version of this piece. I mean, to the point of even having Adam doing like these like these interesting beatbox sound effects, which you would never, ever, ever expect to hear in a cover of Mary Did You Know? Because this feels, kind of like an old-fashioned, traditional, almost like a hymn, basically. So to hear like 2021 level beatbox sound effects in a Mary Did You Know cover is awesome. It's just like keeping it relevant, and I think that's fantastic. So I really like it. I feel like this version of Mary Did You Know and Jeff's version of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen are so cool and innovative and keeping it fresh and keeping someone like me engaged. And if I hear a stale arrangement, I get bored pretty quickly. So big love to Humphrey, and a little shout out there to Jeff, because I think that version is sensational.
And the dumb will speak the praises of the Lamb.
Nice suspension there. Again, we got this. So we're in E minor, so I like that little 6/5 suspension there. Very nice. Something else they're doing there is this kind of like. It was like this kind of like they would have these big vocal moments together, and then they would take like almost a complete break, and that's when you would hear the cool little sound effects from the beatboxing come in. So it allows the arrangement to breathe a bit. So they're in your face with a wall of sound, and then they back off, and then the beatboxing comes in, and you can hear those sound effects. Very, very cool. Let's just so you can know what I'm talking about. Listen carefully here.
And the dumb will speak the praises of
and then it carries through there. Suspension.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know?
So if I say E minor by accident, I meant A minor. So I'll put a little text to fix that. I was like, wait, someone just hit an A in the bass. Someone hit an A1 in the bass, and I was like, we're not in E minor. We're in A, and the 6/5 was the F4 to the E, which E is the 5 of A minor. Okay, now we're good.
Of all creation, Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb?
I love it when Tim does riffs because his voice is so clean. He has so much vocal control and vocal agility. I actually just listened to his interview with Elisabeth on the Charismatic Voice, which I really enjoyed, and it's cool. Jeff has just such an extensive background in singing, just in general, like professionally, in different situations, and it shows. I mean, you can tell he is just a very, very experienced singer and has so much great vocal control. And I love it when he does tasteful riffs like that. Riffing can get completely out of hand if you're just riffing all over the place, but a nice tasteful riff like Tim just did, so good, and I think adds a lot to an arrangement.
Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? That sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know?
The E1 growl, maybe? I think there's an E1 growl in there. And then after that big session kind of resolved, I think there was another growl going down there. Let's listen to that again. That was a very cool moment.
I am. Mary, did you know? 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 Mary, did you know?
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that ending. So they didn't have a final section to kind of bring us back. They just had Tim deliver this one, very kind of peaceful, smooth line to kind of send us off. And I guess now we're scrolling up into the heavens, as it were. That was great. So this last section, it was similar to that section in the middle where the Mary did you, the round vibe section. But this time they had more higher belting going on in the background. So Austin and Rob, I think, were really taking it to the limit up there. This is a really nice arrangement. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Home Free does always add their own spin on things, but sometimes more than other times. So sometimes they do a very, very much like transcription-like arrangement where they'll just take the original, put it into voice, and of course it always sounds phenomenal because it's Home Free. But this is creative. What they did here was totally creative. They took this old song, this traditional song, and they really put their own spin on it. And so I have a lot of respect for that. And I think they executed really well. They didn't push it so far where there were a bunch of weird, questionable artistic choices, at least for my preference. I think everything they did was very tasteful and creative and well executed. So, bravi tutti to Home Free. And yeah, I think this is going to wrap Christmas. I'm not going to bring I'm about to go home for 10 days, so I won't be back in Philadelphia till after Christmas. So I think I'm leaving like an hour and a half. So I'm kind of doing this one to just get one more right before I leave. I think this will wrap the Christmas reactions analysis. And I'm hoping in the new year, I'm really going to start diving into some more metal and some more rock. I got like 170 recommendations from people on a post I made. So start working through that 1 week at a time. So, we're going to keep up. I got some more. I'm going to do some more Dimash because I know people want to hear more Dimash, especially his more operatic stuff, which I will try to be both open-minded and critical. So I'll take it as it comes, and but I will, because people are saying this is like him really singing like an opera singer. I'll probably be in opera mode for that. So, yeah, be ready, and I'll try to really talk shop about operatic technique and what I hear and what I hear in professional singing versus, or what I hear in Dimash's singing versus someone who does strictly opera. I think it'll be really interesting. But Dimash is a sensational talent, so I think it'll be really cool to actually put him side by side and see how he fares. So Dimash got some hard rock, some metal, stuff like that. I think this is going to wrap Christmas. It's a wrap Christmas. And guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you for the next one. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.